What is up, everybody? It is Thursday, so you know what that means. Welcome to another episode of InfoSec Unplugged. I'm your humble, little sick, but gracious host, Davin Jackson, also known as D-Jax. Thanks for joining. I know you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me on a Thursday, and I greatly appreciate it. Like I said, it's been a rough week, a little under the weather. Listen, I don't care if you're vaxxed, unvaxxed, boost, no boost, whatever it is, just make sure you stay safe out there. Whether it's COVID or the flu or whatever the case may be, it's kicking everybody's behinds right now. I'm a victim of it. Don't know how, but I'm here with it. But that's one of the things about having this wolf den or this wolf cave, is that I can be quarantined down here and still enjoy myself without going crazy. But that's enough about me. Shout out to Caleb, aka Studio Sec, for the Big Hacker Energy shirt. Go check him out. Go check out his YouTube channel. And yeah, like I said, thanks for the shirt. So my guest this week, when I announced that he was going to be on the show, I got nothing but positive comments about the type of person he was, which to me speaks a lot to the character, because although I know he's really good at what he does in the technology and cybersecurity field, when someone first comes up and speaks to your character, that to me is more important. But like I said, it's a great guy, and in talking to him a couple times, his whole thing is about being genuine and organic, and I got nothing but love and respect for that. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, everybody in the chat and the pack, please welcome my guest, Marcus Bowie. Let me bring him in. Got the little studio applause for you.
I like that. I need to add that to something I'm doing that on personal record. So yeah, thanks for having me, man. Thanks. Again, it was organic. You know what I'm saying? How you reached out, and the definition of organic to me is it wasn't a stretch. It wasn't like an overreach. It was just, hey, what's up? You want to do something, and it wasn't like it was like like you do too much. And sometimes you may run into people like that do too much. But it was organic. It was just a straight situation. I'm all for organic, and that tells me that's a good opportunity. So definitely wasn't going to turn it down. And thank you for having me, man.
No, not a problem, man. Like I said, absolutely. That's what doing this type of show is all about, is just kind of being that real organic, like Tyrone Wilson likes to say, real rap raw. So but yeah, like I said, I mean, you've been on the radar for a minute.
Okay.
Wanted to get you on, and as soon as I had the opportunity, I reached out. But like I said, for those who don't know who you are, why don't you just kind of give them a brief introduction about who you are and how you got in the game that we love and call cybersecurity.
Got you. So my name is Marcus Bowie. On Twitter, I go by Commandante Bowie. Or my handle is Cyber Reverend. You might hear that term, Cyber Reverend. That's me. For me, how I got into the field was unconventional, and I started off at the help desk. I did help desk IT ops for about 6 years. Moved around, even managed the help desk that I started on under 6 years. And when I went in one day, I worked overnight, and I had to stay late. I had to stay extra late to put some chairs together. And one thing about help desk is called customer service, y'all. Customer service it can help you get anywhere you want to get to in life. Moving forward, somebody walked into the skiff that I was working in, that I was managing with a BlackBerry, and you probably know this more than I do, that you don't walk into a skiff with electronics, phones, or anything of that nature. And this person, he had a suit on. I don't know who matter of fact, I'm gonna mention his name. His name is Jason Bates. And if he's watching, shout out to Jason Bates, because where I'm at now in cybersecurity started because of this story I'm about to tell you. So he showed up with his BlackBerry. I'm off my shift. I'm putting chairs together for my night shift. And they were like, another big wig was like, help this dude. He need help with his phone. And so I do customer service. I just do what I normally would do. I push somebody off their machine. I write the ticket up. I call over to the team that handled the ticket, and I got my guy that I'm real cool with, and so hook my man up. And after that, after I gave him the phone, I forgot all about the conversation. I went back to doing chairs. I didn't even care. I was like, once I gave him the phone, I just walked away. And 5 minutes, that phone call lasted 5 minutes, and he was looking at me the whole time. That phone call lasted 5 minutes. When he got off, he said, "Thank you, man. You know, you're a godsend. You helped me with my BlackBerry." And so, he's trying to tell me what's going on with his phone. And you probably did this before. You ever try to brush somebody off? "Hey, man, no problem, dog. You good?" Yeah. This dude, I was trying to brush him off. "Man, no sweat, man. Pass it forward." I'm giving him all that. And he said, "Look, by the way, if you need anything from Diplomat Security, let me know." And the first thing I'm thinking about is Diplomat Security. That's the cybersecurity team. And I've been hearing about cyber. I've been, I'm new. I'm still on the help desk, but I'm hearing about it. Mm-hmm. He said, "Oh, by the way, I am the division branch chief." And so I said, "Yeah, let's go outside and have a conversation." So we went out in the hallway, and when he said, "What do you need? What you want?" I said, "I've been hearing about this field, cybersecurity. I feel like I'd be a good fit. X, Y, and Z." He said, "Give me your resume." This was a Friday morning. He said, "Give me your resume." 3 weeks later, I was sitting in the seat. No degree, no certs, no skills. I'm sitting in the SOC. I got access to all types of SOC tools. I'm doing SOC work, and 3 weeks later, I'm doing SOC work, all because I use my customer service. And I said this on a few podcasts. Listen, if you're in the help desk field or you're in the field dealing with help desk or customers, use that customer service to your advantage, because you never know what may open up for you down the road. And so that's unconventional. That's unconventional. And from there, I catapulted to other areas in cyber. So
no, I mean, absolutely. And it's funny that you mentioned help desk, because I'm sure you see some of the nonsense on Twitter where people feel like they're too good to get started in help desk.
Let me tell you something.
Help desk honestly prepares you.
Yes.
For some of the nonsense and the BS you're going to deal with. Not only does it help you with it, I think help desk is essential because it also teaches you, those people skills, right?
Yes.
Because like you said, help desk is all about customer service.
Yes.
So you got to know how to speak to people. You got to know how to manage your time, right? Like going back to what you said about sometimes you just kind of all right. It's not that you're trying to be rude. You got to get to the next ticket sometimes, right. Especially if they got a queue up there.
Right.
So I highly recommend help desk. Like I said, I don't know where these people are getting it messed up with help desk, but I highly recommend and not to mention, help desk is probably one of the easiest jobs to get your foot in the door. Everybody talks about I can't get a job because I don't have experience. And I don't have experience because I can't get a job. Go work at a help desk for like 6 months or a year. Everybody is hiring help desk right now. I mean, not to trash help desk, but a lot of those jobs are revolving doors.
It is.
They're always looking for people, especially if you're working at like a cable company, like your internet service provider.
Yes.
They always are hiring. Why? Because they need more people in chairs to handle those calls coming in to keep their queue low, because they want to make sure everybody's in and out in less than like 6 minutes.
Right.
So,
listen, I never heard. Well, I've been hearing people say that, not on Twitter, but I've been hearing people say you don't have to go to help desk route and do X, Y, and Z. Look, especially those who don't got a clearance. Listen to me. Get a help desk job. That's where I got my clearance from. And don't leave it until you get a top secret. All right. Everybody keep talking about these doors open and all that stuff like that. Listen. Hold on.
Oh. I got my Navi back from Zelda. Okay. I had to drop the head.
Okay. Yeah. So listen, I look at help desk as a gas station. If you've been working on it now, it's a gas station. A year after sitting in that seat, you should already know where you're going to go. Why? Because you're creating the tickets to go to these different groups. You should know who's who in those tickets. You should even be looking at resolutions on how they close those tickets, so you can know how to do it when you get on the interview. And so I use it to my advantage. And there's a tactic that I like to use. It's called get out your seat. Don't be an introvert. It's okay to be that, but be it at home, especially if you're trying to move up the chain. Now, if you're there just collecting the check, then do what you normally do. But if you're trying to exceed and get to the next level, Get out of your seat, meet some people, talk to some people, be nice. You know what I'm saying? Speak to people in the hallway. And use that to your advantage, because I'm trying to tell you, that thing opened doors that I've never seen done,
No.
ever. You know what I'm
and
saying?
and that goes to another thing that I've been talking about, especially lately. A lot of people worry about the quantity, right? Everybody worries about the number of followers I have or the number of viewers I have or whatever, right? In your case, it wasn't about how many people you helped, but it was about who you helped, right?
Yeah,
Because
right,
so it's not about how many people were paying attention. It's a matter about who was paying attention and what impact you had.
right.
So now you meet this person, you help troubleshoot an issue, super impressed with you. 3 weeks later, you're sitting in you're sitting in a sock in your
Mm-hmm.
first cybersecurity role.
Right.
What was that experience like,
Oh my God.
being there? And I mean, I'm assuming this is a completely different world for you. So talk about that experience, and I'm pretty sure there was a lot of overwhelming feelings and imposter syndrome going on. So speak to that and talk about how you navigated through that to succeed.
So again, walking into that environment, I know nothing about SOC. Coming fresh off a help desk, but I had tangible skills. They needed somebody that knew how to work Remedy at that particular time. I knew how to do that. They needed somebody who knew how to contact or work with different groups, and I did that as a manager. I knew the different groups. I knew who's who. I knew the different teams. And when I got into that environment, they were lacking that. They didn't have anybody who knew how to write tickets. They didn't have anybody who knew how to contact different groups. So I used that to my advantage. Now, you said imposter syndrome. I can't speak for everybody. I can only speak for me. Was I overwhelmed? Absolutely. Um, but I did not feel like I did not belong there. So it's just, for me, it's a mentality thing. For me, it's a mental change. It's a change of perspective. I got in that seat because I had something that got me in that seat. Not necessarily the skills. I had customer service skills, which in turn, he knows how to talk to people. Maybe that was done in the background to say, we need this guy down here. Because when I got done there, immediately what they do, put me in, give me tasks where I had to talk to different groups who I already knew. So that helped for me. It's a mentality change. It's a change of perspective with imposter syndrome. If you're in the seat, and this is a little rabbit hole. If you're in the seat where you feel like you're overwhelmed and you don't really know what you're doing, I'm in that type of seat right now. However, I do belong there. I wouldn't be hired. I'm hired for a reason. So you do belong in that seat. It's just that you just got to learn what's put in front of you. And I was brought up off hard work. You want them Jordans, you want them nice shoes, you got to work for it. And everybody, and what helps me is this: who are you comparing to? Who are you comparing yourself to
Mm.
that makes you feel like you're less than somebody else? And I always say this: everybody got a season. Don't don't compare your season, your winter, to somebody else's spring or summer.
Sir, it's too early.
I'm just throwing that in there. Now, was I overwhelmed? Now let me tell you.
I'm about to get the organs playing. Oh, you froze up. You froze up. Let me get him off here. Nope. All right, so look, I'm waiting for him to come back, but while we're waiting, yeah, he was taking us to church there a second ago. So I'm gonna do that again with the because he was definitely speaking some truth there. So while we're waiting, I'm gonna go to my pack, do the love from the pack. Again, you guys are the reason why I'm here and why I'm doing what I'm doing, even though I probably should be underneath the blanket somewhere. So we have Kalila Scott says, "Hey everyone," in Wolfpack, and we have Cyber Warrior Studios saying, "What's good? What's going on, sir? Thanks for joining." We have Trenton Brooks, another friend of the show, former guest, says, "What's up?" Kiki says, "Her and Sora are watching and listening." That's what's up. Cyber Warrior says Marcus is in the house. Yep, we're working on getting him back. And then he's like, "Love this man." Nah, he's a good dude. He's definitely a good dude. Kiki says, "Welcome." Ty says, "Hey all." Boyle's Information Info Systems Incorporated says hello. We have Daniel says hello. Trying to go through here. And then let's see here. Just had to deal. Oh yeah, we were talking about being sick, man. Yeah, it's kicking my behind right now. But like I said, we'll get through it. And then he said just had to deal with that over the holidays and earlier this month. Man, listen, I'm just. And then Cyber Warrior says help desk is where he started. No, absolutely. Like I said, I did PC bench and then I went to help desk and did that for a little while. And then even my job, even with the jobs leading up to it, it still had that help desk customer service element. So you had, like, to me, that definitely is a crucial skill, especially if you're going to get in the technical side of things. Studio Sex says nice shirt, man. I mean, yeah, I told you it was a nice shirt. Thanks for putting it out there and going out to support it. And then let's see. Dante says, you can't get away from the help desk. As a cybersecurity engineer, I have to tackle tickets that get escalated from the SOC. Shout out to the help desk. No, there's always going to be some type of customer service help desk type role you have to do. So it's just all a matter of how you navigate through it. You don't have to do help desk, but if you can, you should. No, absolutely. And then Ashley says, facts, so true. And then Kalila says, help desk is a stepping stone. Yeah, especially if you're looking to get into the technical field. All right, so it looks like we got Marcus back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think the system overloaded, man. You was
too
dropping
hot,
too many. You was dropping too many gems at once, and you DDoS the DDoS the stream with all the gems you was dropping.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry about that, man. I just moved over to Linux, so if y'all got Linux systems, this is the problem that you're gonna run into. Sorry about that.
Nah, we all know the dangers of live stream, but that's okay. So you were hold on real quick. So Dante was, when you were talking about the mentality, Dante also mentioned mentality, and he also said know your worth. And then
Yeah, know your
this man is preaching today. So.
Yeah, know your worth. I look at people. When I got into that seat, yeah, I was overwhelmed. And there's four areas. There's four areas that you're going to run into coming into the SOC environment. There's four types of environments that you're going to walk into that I ran into. So the first one is there's no on-the-job training. Remember, I'm coming over, no skills. I'm coming over, and there's nothing that I know. And you might walk into an environment where they don't have on-the-job training. You can't go to the tier 1 dude next to you because he's scared you're going to take his tier 2 spot. He's threatened by your presence. You can't go to tier 2 people because they're tired of tier 1. They don't want to deal with tier 1 people. And you can't go to tier 3 because they're too busy. So you might walk into an environment where that's the case. You also may walk into an environment where there's bad management. You might be smarter than the manager in some SOCs, which I was in a situation where that was the case. The manager didn't even know how to analyze certain alerts, but they're there in that seat, maybe through the buddy system or through, they know somebody or a situation like me. They probably became a manager by just networking. We don't know, but you may walk into an environment where it's bad management on that part, and there's also bad management on as far as micromanagement. On the help desk, I see where micromanagement is needed. You might be in Ox for too long, and you might need somebody to come press you out to get out of Ox and pick some phone calls up. But in the SOC environment and cybersecurity, micromanagement is not needed, and you might walk into an environment where that's the case, which happened to me when I first got my first SOC job. So bad management, no on-the-job training, no training budget. You may walk into a place where, we're only going to send the tier 3s to training, not tier 1. And now what do you do? What do you do in that environment when you walk into a place where you got those 3? And the last one is bad contract. Well, it's 2 of them. Bad contract for number 4. You might walk into an environment where they'll pick you up. You might got the certs or whatever, and they'll pick you up, but you don't know that the contract's in it next week. And so now you like, are they going to keep me? Are they going to kick me out? Am I back to square one? You know what I'm saying? So you may just be prepared mentally that you might walk into an environment like that. And lastly, the last environment, which was the last thing I got, and I got all 5 in this environment. The last one that I got was bad work schedule. There's a schedule, and you probably seen this called the Panama shift, where they throw you on any shift that they see fit, and especially in the SOC world, they're looking for people who do 24/7. So, if you got a job or something during the day, and you want to work at night, this may be good for you. But if you just trying to, you working this one job and you got other things going on, you may have to work a bad schedule starting out to get to where you gotta get to. And I dealt with all five in my first job, all five. And how did I overcome that? It was an end game. I had an end game. I had an end goal. I wanted to be good at this, just like how I was on the help desk side. I wanted to move up the chain like I am now. But I wanted to do that on the help desk side. And so that's what kept me going. That's what kept me. I had a passion about it. Once I started seeing how the alerts go, and once I started seeing the type of incidents they deal with, yeah, I turned that into a passion. I turned that into something that I wanted to do, and that helped me a whole lot in the field. Can you hear me?
Not, I'm sorry. Yeah, I can hear you. I was on mute.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I said it's a but that's what tech is, right? Trends and anomalies and things like that, right? So once you've been in a SOC or a call center or something like that, after a while, you develop a system. It's almost like you're automating yourself. You're automating how you work, right?
correct.
Once you've been in a help desk long enough, you've pretty much seen, depending on what type of help desk or what type of where you're at, you've pretty much seen all the issues that come in, so you know how to troubleshoot. So you'll know, so you'll be able to push through it sooner. Um, Real quick, let's see. We see Ty says, "Hey, be careful not to be stuck in help desk." No, you that's that. Like Kalila said, if your goal is to move out of the help desk, then treat it like a stepping stone. And then he says also there are multiple types of help desk. No, it all depends on. It
Right.
depends. Like you said, there's internet service provider help desk, which is all network troubleshooting. There are SOCs where you might be dealing with security tickets. So yeah, there are all type of help desks, but it all boils down to the same timeliness and customer service, and can you produce value. So again, everybody here in the chat, if you have any questions for me or for Marcus, you can pretty much ask anything, ask away. Just keep it clean and respectful. Like I said, y'all know me by now, and y'all know I'm not with the nonsense. So so just like I said, I haven't had too many problems, but we're good. So so Marcus, so you say you've dealt with like multiple scenarios in your experience working in the SOC. So in those scenarios, what challenges did you face, or that you still face to this day? Navigating through your career in cyber defense.
There's two types of challenges you run into outside of those five. Um, Walking into an environment where there's not a fail forward environment, where it's performance based, and you don't have room for failure. You don't have room to try new things. You may be in an environment where that's the case, where you're trying to learn something. Maybe they give you a task. Maybe they give you an assignment that requires you to think more. It's not on the top of your brain. It's something that you got to research. It's something that you got to actually look into. You might be in a situation where they don't give you room for that. And so I dealt with that on my second SOC job, where in the beginning of the second SOC job, I dealt with a situation like that where there was no room for failure. You have to produce, and you got to make sure it's done right. And if you do something wrong, you're on the chopping block. And so navigating through that was this. If I know that I'm walking into an environment where I really don't know what I'm doing, I'm not really sharp at what I'm doing. I'm not going to work 8 hours on that day and then go home and watch TV.
Yeah.
I'm not going to work 8 hours that day. If I know I suck at my job, I'm not going to work at 8 hours that day. and then go home and play video game.
Yeah.
So I created a system that I work 8 hours here and I go home and I work for me 8 hours. What's
Mm.
working for me means everything that I failed on and got yelled at, or not written up, but got the slap on the wrist for. Maybe I missed an alert. Maybe I misanalyzed the situation or didn't properly perform good IR steps. I went home and I studied my butt off on that particular section. Maybe the rules sucked. All right, go fire up the lab and try to write rules so that when you come back tomorrow, you got something to bring to the table. Your value is not questioned.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a lot of people do that. You see a lot of people they get new jobs and then they go home and they don't work on their skill. You got to remember you're getting paid for your craft. So if you think about that you're getting paid for your skill, you're getting paid to provide a service. You will take that a little bit more serious. And some people say leave work at work. I mean, okay, that's cool for some, but this message is for people who are trying to move up the chain, who are trying to go a little bit further in life. You might want to go home and practice the skill or practice that piece that you're weak on, and also be honest about it. A lot of people in denial. If you're weak in the area, it's okay to say you're weak. On the network architecture side, I'm not shocked. I gotta. I'm dealing with a task right now where I'm like, dude, this thing taking me a little bit longer than it is if you ask me to do some forensics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I understand that, and I'm okay with not being in denial. I'm okay with not feeling like, oh man, I'm weak in this area. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with whatever comes with that. But knowing that will help you understand where you need to focus your strengths on, build your strengths on. Just like a sports, just like a basketball player and a football player and a boxer, you got to train. And so that mentality there, I take that with me. Um,
No,
you know,
no, it's not about like I said numerous times, and I say it to my kids. It's not about how you messed up; is how you recover from it, right?
right,
So
right,
no one's perfect, so you're gonna mess up. You're gonna run into things. You're not gonna be as quick, or you're not gonna be as timely, or you might miss
yeah,
something. It's gonna happen. It's what you
right,
do after.
right,
To me, is what's important, right?
right,
Do you take ownership for it? What steps did you take to remediate the issue?
yeah,
What did you do to reflect on it to make sure that it never happens again? These are
right,
things that you these are the type of characters that you have to have with people, because too many people think they got to go in and be perfect, right?
yeah,
And the other thing is, to your point, going back, and I don't know if you can see it. I got a bunch of little things up there, but it says one of them is do the work.
yeah,
I'm not one telling you to work and burn both ends and work 20 hours a night. I tried it.
right,
It sucked. I got physically sick, like I thought I was going to die. Like
yeah,
it's been well documented, right? But there is a certain level of work that you have to put in.
yes,
Like you said, athletes, do you think athletes, when practice is over, or no, or actually when the game is over, you think that's it? They just go home and go to sleep? No, they got practice the next day. They're
right,
reviewing tape. They're heck, they Kobe Bryant, rest in peace. There's stories out there when he had that horrible game in Utah. What was that? His rookie season, when he
yeah,
shot the air balls at the free throw line, and he went up
yeah,
and they said he shot 400 shots. Got off the plane and went back to the gym and put up 400 shots. So there's a certain level of work that you should put in to get better at your craft. I tell people all the time, so many people are so worried about the bag and worried about
right,
just getting paid,
right,
that they're not worried about the work that they need to put in, or the work that comes with it, or the work you have to put in to keep it,
to keep it,
because
right,
that's the important part.
yes,
So, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, too many times, you see people come into the field and just think it's a cakewalk, right? Oh, I'm just gonna do this, or I don't want to read, or like, and I'm not gonna name names, but these are literally things that I've heard. People I want to get into tech, but I don't want to read. You want to get into cybersecurity, but you don't want to read.
Oh gosh, you got to read. You gonna have to read logs, PCAPs, documentation. That I've heard that too, and again, like you took the word out of my mouth. You got to work to get in. You got to work to stay in. You know, you got to prove your value in most cases. You got to make sure that you can pay what you're supposed to get paid, but also you're not going to walk in. And I'm hearing this is an argument on Twitter now. People thinking niggas are going to walk in and make 6 figures. No, it doesn't work that way. You're going to have to work your butt off to get, and I always tell, just like this, you're going to have to work to get comfortable. You know what I'm saying? When you walk in, it's going to overwhelm you. And I had students come in, get cyber jobs, and they was ready to quit the first day. And I had to coach them like, no, you're going to weather the storm to get to where you need to get to. But the idea of it is it's going to take work. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take work. No matter your age. Yeah. I don't care what your age. Ain't no age limit on cyber. You know, I got a guy right now. He took my class. He's 52. He just took my class this weekend, and he got an interview Friday. So age don't mean nothing. Age don't mean a thing. So, but it takes work. This guy's studying. He's up. He's in the lab.
Give you some applause for that one.
It takes work to get to where you want to get to. Yeah, and am I comfortable in life? Absolutely. But I feel like I haven't done enough. And in order to stay where I'm at, you got to know I don't have a degree. So how am I going to prove my worth without the degree?
Me neither.
By skills. How do I keep the skills going? I got to work at it. And like you said, you don't got to be a workaholic. You just got to take pride in your craft. Your brand is important. Jobs come and go, but your brand stays. Jobs come and go, but your brand stays. You know what I'm saying?
That, yeah. Hold on. But that's real, right? And people think, oh, I got to put it in. Like I said, I was one of them because I didn't have a mentor who told me otherwise. I was one of them who felt like like you said, I didn't have a degree, right? Yeah. So I always looked at it like no matter what room I walked into, I was the weakest link. So that if management said, hey, you got to let go of somebody tomorrow, they're going to go, that person's the boss's cousin. That person has this many years of experience or has been here for so long and has political ties. This person has these degrees or whatever, but he doesn't have a college education. So my mentality is I'm going to make it so hard for you to have to pick me. Like even if you pick me, it's gonna suck. Like you gonna feel it when I'm gone. Yeah. And that's how I moved. That's how I moved in the beginning of my career. And when I was just knocking out cert after cert after cert. And it was just like you gotta have that mentality. And like you said, you gotta put in the work. Like I said, a couple hours a night. No matter whatever it is you're doing, it doesn't even necessarily have to be technical. You could be reading on documentation, but something, right? Let a video, if you're watching a training video, let that play while you're cooking dinner or whatever, right? And then go back and review. These are little things you can do to multitask, right? But the problem is like I said, that it's that instant gratification. Like I was talking to Dave Kennedy about it last week, and he was like, a lot of people want to do a little bit of the work but get all of the perks, and it's like that's not how it works, especially in both of our fields, right? So from an offensive side, when there's a new attack out there, I gotta sit down and put myself in a lab to figure out how this exploit works. I need to figure out what to look for in the vulnerability to go, it's vulnerable to this. Let me throw this exploit at it, right? Yeah. You, on the other hand, have to know what to look for in if there's something in the logs or there's something in the code that you have to look for. And to your point, work on where you're weak. Like you said, you're not strong in networking. I hate code reviews. Listen, like I told my boss when I got hired, I said, listen, if it involves doing a lot of code, count me out. And it was like, nah, don't worry about it. And of course, I get on the team and it's like, hey, we're gonna do these code reviews. And I'm like, oh, all right, whatever. But I could have, but I do what I got to do. But I
Right.
give them, but I set the expectation. I tell them, hey, listen,
Yeah.
I know this dude could do code reviews in like 2 hours. You're going to probably have to give me like 5.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're setting the
Yeah.
expectation. And if they can't understand that, then cool. But you don't lie to people.
Right.
Don't fake it. Like I keep saying, don't fake it till you make it. Don't do any
Yeah.
of
It
that.
don't work. It don't work, y'all.
It don't. It don't.
It don't work faking it until you make it. And it goes back to what I'm saying. If you're picking a place, the first question you're gonna ask, outside of the salary stuff, you're gonna ask, is it a feel forward environment? Is it set up for me to learn and they're not gonna be pressing me out? So give me time. And you mentioned code. My very first task when I got this engineering role was to fix a code from open source. So there's a open source tool that we were using that had bugs in it. That was my very first task. So when I got that, I'm like, oh my goodness, are y'all gonna give me space? And they gave me time. They didn't press me out. They didn't push me, into a place where like hurry up. They let me figure it out to the point where I was able to solve the problem, get the problem solved, and I got kudos for that. For that. But again, like you said, being honest. You were honest about it.
Yeah.
It's okay to be honest about where you at. You know what I'm saying? I think people are just gonna put that perfect persona on. I'm not a perfect guy. I'll be honest. I'll tell you straight up. I'm not a perfect guy. You will never hear those words come out of my mouth. However, I am a person who wants to work towards perfection.
Yes.
Working on my craft towards perfection. And a lot of that means being honest where you are and not being in denial and just work on that. You know what I'm saying? And faking it till you make it. I seen faking it till you make it. I seen people do that in the field and no longer are in the field because the community is so small. You know what I'm saying? You come into one sock and you stink it up. I guarantee you put that resume somewhere else, somebody knows you. They're gonna ask, hey, you know this person? Oh gosh, please don't hire this person though. Oh my goodness. And they've been not being able to get a job in cyber since they started. So don't do that to yourself. Be honest up front, be honest on the interviews. If you don't know, don't say I wouldn't say I don't know. I would say that I don't know it, but I can figure it out.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Just be honest. Be honest with yourself.
Yes.
It's okay to come to grips with reality. If you suck at a tool, don't wait till somebody else say you suck to get offended. If you suck at something right now, suck at a skill right now, and you suck at a skill right now, practice it. Get good at it. You know what I'm saying? Like you mentioned Kobe Bryant. He's very, very motivational. He's probably one of my favorite basketball players, and I don't even watch basketball. He's my favorite basketball player, rest in peace. But he was so motivated to fix whatever he was weak at. He was
methodical. Yeah.
It's hard to find.
Yeah. Like I was, put it this way. I'm old. I'm an old school, so I'm a Jordan fan. Couldn't stand Kobe as a player, but as he retired and you start to hear about the different things that he was doing in his work ethic, it was like you got to respect it, and it was like okay, and then or the tail end of his career, the 24 years, not the 8 years, not the number 8 years, the number 24 years. It was like all right, you know what I'm saying, and yes, rest in peace, Mamba, but you talked about You talked about, geez, I'm drawing a blank. This I'm telling you, this whatever I got.
It's all right.
Yeah, no, it's about the work. You got to put the work in, and without it, you just gonna be lost. And there you go. I was talking to the Black Girls Hack organization. I was having a talk with them last week, and shout out to them because I know they're in the chat. And I said the same thing. Cybersecurity is a massive field.
Yeah.
But when you get into these different lanes, they're small communities.
Yeah.
So like you said, a lot of SOC people know each other. A lot of SOC managers know each other. They're probably in meetup groups. They probably go to these little groups and dinners.
Yeah.
I know of a group of CISOs all over the country that get together once a week. And they talk about what they can do to be better CISOs, but they also talk about their staff. They talk about, what they can talk about without breaking NDAs. So these people talk, and in the example I used was, let's say you work in the fintech space. So you work for a payment processing company, or you work like something like First Data or something, and because they're always hiring, and you fumble that bag, right? Because First Data, if you finesse your way, you could probably work yourself into a bag there, but you gonna earn it.
Yeah.
But if you fumble that bag, they talk to everybody. So now when you're looking for another job and you put on your resume that I have experience doing cybersecurity in a fintech space, because again, this is a niche space, because you have to deal with things like PCI and segmentation and all of this other stuff. So now when you say, "Oh, I have experience in fintech," and they go, "Well, where'd you work?" "Oh, I worked at First Data, or I worked at this company." And "Oh, I know a guy there," or "Oh, I just came from there," or I used to work there. And then they call and they're like, "Hey, did you have such and such that worked for you?" And they're gonna be like, "Man," and I'm not gonna say the word, but
right.
So
you know what else they do? That resume hits the desk. The
Mhm.
supervisor sometimes, and I've been in SOCs where they did this. They will pass the resume around.
Oh yeah.
And say, "Y'all know this person?"
Oh yeah. Wait.
Oh my goodness.
Not even in house. How about everybody we remote now. I've seen resumes pat. I'm not condoning it. I don't think it's right. But I've seen Discord channels, Slack messages, Twitter DM groups, Facebook Messenger groups.
Wow.
Hey, this person said blah 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 blah, and said they worked here. Hey, you worked there. Did you see this person while you were there? But now you put that out there, but now so you might be messaging one or two people, but everybody in that group gonna see this resume. So it's like these are the things that they do. So this is why it's important for you to be honest and put in the work and do what you got to do. And for me, the cheat code is, if you're honest with yourself first, you're gonna beat them to the punch.
Right.
So if I look at myself and go, I suck at coding. I suck at it. I hate it. I suck at it. But now I did that 3 to 6 months before leadership start looking, going, he's kind of weak at coding.
Yeah.
That gives me a head start to work on it. So now by the time you even think about it, I've already improved, assuming I put in the work, right? And I've done this. I've done this in the past where managers will go, it's almost like you're reading my mind, because I'll sit there and see, oh, maybe he didn't do this fast enough. And then when I say I'm going to pay attention to it to take notes for your review, it was almost like, oh man, it was like maybe he had an off week, because immediately you were improving week after week. And I'm like, yeah, I'm harder on myself than I let anybody be on me.
Right.
And it's not self-hate. It's
it ain't no self-hate. No.
It ain't self-hate. It ain't that I don't value myself, but it's more of a, no one's going to know you better than yourself. So if you point out your weaknesses, no one else will be able to exploit those weaknesses in you.
Yes. Correct.
It's just like the stuff you guys do, vulnerability management or something. If you guys point out the vulnerabilities, and you patch the vulnerabilities, a malicious attacker is not going to be able to hit those vulnerabilities. Or if they see the vulnerability and they go, we're just going to wait for the right time, and then when they think the right time to strike to hit, boom, now it has been patched, it's been blocked. So that's my cheat code.
And that cheat code works. Again, being upfront, being, hey, I'm weak here and weak there. It's just an environment that I can, grow at or fail forward. And they would even say yes or no. That all should have been said. That all should be taken care of at the interview stage. And they will make their determination. well, he's weak at this or that, but we're gonna take a chance on him because he's actually good at this and that. So we're gonna work with the guy, and you never know, it may open up that way. But just
Yeah.
like you said, yeah, I've seen chats, I've seen resumes, I've been in conference rooms where they got the person on the phone screen, they're doing the phone screen, and they're laughing in the background because they because they said something off the. Listen, that stuff happens 9 times out of 10 all the time. I've been in a place where I've heard it where they're doing an interview and I hear paper and I hear people typing and they're like, well, it look like he looking to answer when we. So not knowing your stuff before you get on can hurt you as well. You know what I'm saying? Before you get on the interview, that may hurt you as well. Not being properly prepared for an interview can damage it. Can damage your.
Especially if you lying on your resume.
Right.
Like
yeah.
I use the example all the time. I interviewed a guy and my thing is I know how hard it was for me, so I try to be different. Right? I really do. So I go into these interviews and I'm like, some people don't interview well. You know, I'm already trying to give you the benefit of the doubt before I even interview you. And I went in and then this one person was just like, yo, they were God's gift to web app hacking. And I was like, all right, cool. Now I was weak. I was once weak at web app hacking. It intimidated me. And then once I got into it, and I'm like, oh, burp suite, this is nothing. And I started to learn the different attacks. I'm like, I actually enjoy this. I enjoy this more than I did network or infrastructure pen testing. Like people look at me like I'm crazy because I came from a sysadmin background and moved into pen testing. They were like, yo, you should have just stayed there. You could have been active. You could have been doing Active Directory hack. And I'm like, yeah, but it wasn't fun. Web app was like my happy place. And then I moved into application security and API stuff. And now I'm like, I found my place. But back to this interview, this guy was he was talking. And I said, all right, well, tell me how a SQL injection works. And he couldn't speak and he couldn't answer the question. And I was like, you can't answer you said you're great at web app hacking, but you do not know. I don't need you to tell me all the SQL commands and all of that. Just tell me how it works. Tell me what you would do to see if it's vulnerable.
Right.
You can't tell me what at that time was the number one vulnerability in all web applications. Okay. Tell me how Burp Suite works. Oh, I don't use Burp Suite. Okay, well maybe you use OAuth Zap. Tell me how OAuth Zap works. Oh, I don't use that either. So what do you do? What do you use when you're fuzzing web applications? Oh, I just kind of do it by hand and manually. Right? Okay, fine.
Okay.
Right? So now again, I'm like, okay, whatever. So now I give him a scenario and I'm like, walk me through the scenario, and he couldn't answer it. And I'm like, fam, come on.
Yeah. Right.
Right. But
listen, on the blue team side, it's the same thing. Let me tell you something about the blue team side, y'all. If you're trying to get into the SOC world or do anything on the blue team side, if you got a whole bunch of certs, and let me tell you some of the interviews I've been in. If you got a whole bunch of certs, know your certs. Because you might get that little jerk, and we know this. 80% of the interview is scenario based. Know your certifications because the other 20% may be about that. I've been in interviews where, somebody had a whole bunch of certs and they asked them something about the certification, and the person didn't know how to answer it. So having all them certs is a blessing and can be a curse for you if you don't know your certifications or have been studying that. Also, like you said before, you asking them scenarios, you asking about certain things. If you say, you got IR experience, and I ask you something about IR or I ask you something about a PCAP, and you couldn't tell me the answer to that. What's the magic number of an executable file or a zip file? And you don't understand those terminologies. That's going to hurt your case, you know, depending on what you got on your resume, and then you could get blackballed. I've seen people
Yeah.
get blackballed on interviews, all because they lied on the resume. They didn't really have the experience. They just threw some keywords on there, thinking they was gonna get past HR. And let me tell y'all this too. They're doing something new now, which they already been doing it. Like the private sector, blue team defender positions are doing this, but they're doing something different now where you get past HR, because you can lie and get past HR. You can lie and get past an interview in some cases. Sometimes you can sneak past the hiring manager. But what they're doing now is they're putting you in front of a computer and they're watching you to see how you handle an
Oh
incident.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, they've been doing
watching
that
what
on
you
the
put in
offensive
Splunk.
side. Yeah.
Yeah,
They've been doing
they
that on the
watching your
offensive
queries.
side for a while. They give you a VM and tell you come back in 3 days with a full write up. Yeah.
Yeah, but so they doing it that way. But because I had one student, he got that one, and then I had another student where they want you right there, and the manager is watching you on the site. What you type, what they watching, what query you put in Splunk. They watching how you parse the log. They watching what data you pull out from the incident, how you pivot. They just want to see, does this match the resume? So y'all jumping in on the blue team side, just be prepared to know how to handle those type of situations. Know your stuff.
That's real.
Know it.
That's real because I remember I did an interview where they not only did they put me in front of the machine, they were quizzing me while I'm on the machine. So they told me I can say the name. It was Delta. I went to work. I went to apply for Delta Airlines.
Nice.
And they put me through this ringer of an interview. Like it was like 3 dudes just rapid fire questions for like 45 minutes. And then they brought me into this back room, no windows. Like I thought they was gonna like beat me up or interrogate me or something. I thought I was gonna get waterboarded or something. And then they put there was a machine. They put me in the machine and they said, all right, so get root and deface the website. I was like, okay, no information. Nope. Consider it a black box.
Right.
So now I'm doing my enumeration. I'm doing my information gathering. And while I'm going through it, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, if you wanted to check the version of an Nmap, while you're doing Nmap, what flag would you use? And I'm like, SV. You know what I'm saying? And I'm kind of doing this. And they were like, oh, what would you do to capture network packets? Wireshark. You know what I'm saying? And to me, I think that was overkill. But these are the type of things that they try to do to make to it's almost like they want you. They want to trip you up. They want to say that there was a reason why they failed you. And I see Ty says hearing this scares people away. It's not scaring people away. It's more of a explaining why you need to know your stuff, because so many people just get paper certified. So many people, and you've seen it on LinkedIn. So many people are going to LinkedIn and paying these shady characters on LinkedIn money to get the brain dumps for these exams just to say that they're certified. Again, I don't want to drag the brother any more than he's been dragged, because he's been dragged. There was a guy who got his AWS Solutions Architect certification.
Wow.
But did not have a lick of IT experience. Yikes. No help desk, no call center, no SOC, no nothing. But you got your AWS Solutions Architect and then wondered why you couldn't get a job, and then decided you were going to go on LinkedIn to vent about why you can't get a job. And they was like, well, what type of job are you looking for? And he goes, I'm looking for an entry-level solutions architect job. And they laughed him. I'm pretty sure they laughed him off the internet.
Wow.
Because there's no such thing as an entry-level cloud architect. Right. So us trading these stories is not to scare people away. It's to tell you that when you move up in your career, these are the type of experiences you're going to have to do. I'm not saying that they're right. I'm not saying that they're fair, because a lot of them aren't, especially if you're in the programming space and you're trying to go work at one of the big companies, one of the FANG companies, and they put you through 8 rounds of interviews and code reviews and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's fair. I'm saying know your stuff and be prepared for it. Otherwise, you're going to hurt your chances, not only with that job, but any job that's also in that space, because that follows you. Believe it or not, like we said, they talk. So it's not that we're trying to scare you away. We're trying to
Mhm.
scare you into doing the right thing.
Right.
Kalila says, be honest and know your period. 100. Nobody can get in a great position without the knowledge, period. And
Right.
that's the truth.
And on that note, and to piggyback off what Khalil said, it literally is a meritocracy.
Yes.
It literally is a meritocracy. Once your feet is in the door, it's I mean, and I'm not taking away from any other situation, but I'm saying skills pay the bills. You know, I've gotten to the level I'm at right now. I don't have a degree. And
Yeah.
people are like, dude, you ain't go to school? No, not at all. And if you ask me what cert I got, you're gonna laugh me out the room. I only got one really good cert. And some people say that's a bad cert. But
Mhm.
you know what helped me get to the levels I'm at? Skills.
Yes.
Skills
Like
pay
I
the
said,
bills.
yes.
Not just any skills.
The job, like I said, the certs will help you get the interview.
Right.
But your hands-on skills is what gets you paid. Yes, sir. Yeah,
Right.
yes.
Right.
Infinite Improbability says, never forget who you are. The rest of the world will not. Wear it like armor, and it
Yeah.
can never be used to hurt you. Tyrion Lannister. Yep. Love
Yes.
Tyrion Lannister.
Yes. Be yourself. Nobody can use, like you said, nobody can use that against you.
Yep.
You
Dante
who you
said
are.
entry level.
Huh?
Hold on, no. Dante said entry level architect. That's like saying an old young man.
Yeah. Right.
And
Right.
then they said skills pay the bills. That's why it rhymes. Nah, that's a bar.
Yeah. Skills pay the bills.
So
Skills.
we've been so we've been ranting for a little while, but again, this is InfoSec Unplugged. I'm your host, Davin Jackson. I'm here with Marcus Bowie. Again, thank you for joining the show. Thank you for being here. And like I said, we're talking about basically getting into the game and what you need to do and to do it the right way. I
Right.
know that I've been talking about this a lot in previous episodes, but there's a war going on outside no one is safe from, and
Yeah.
it's the war of misinformation and the war of especially our people. It's our
Yes.
people that's getting hurt because
Hey.
we're already behind the eight ball, men, women, marginalized people.
Yeah.
So everybody's trying to get that come up, but you can't do that. Sometimes not sometimes, you should always put in the work.
Right.
And too many people are listening to these echo chambers online
Mm-hmm.
and thinking, okay, well, this person told me it's going to take me 2 to 3 years or 3 to 5 years, but this person's telling me 6 months. So I'm going to go listen to this person. And then you screw yourself. And now you got not only do you put yourself in a hole, because I tell people I'm like, when you dig yourself into a hole, now you have to do double the work because
Right.
you have to dig yourself out that hole to begin with just to get back on level ground, and then you need to elevate. See, people
Right.
look at it like I messed up now, I hit rock bottom, but I'm on my way to the top. No, sir. No, ma'am. You
Get
gotta
out of
work. You gotta work your behind back up to surface level,
Right. Right.
and then build.
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
rebuild that foundation.
Yeah. And
So
and and I've seen it on Twitter, and I stay out of certain conversations. I stay out of spaces. I be in my own little world because what's happening in my little world and the viewpoint of where I'm looking
yeah,
is actually productive. So I stay out of these things, but I be saying it.
yeah.
Every week it be some people they got a new profession. I'm gonna do this week.
Mm-hmm.
Then they hear somebody, some thought leader or somebody throw out, you should do this type of,
Fam,
you can get here quicker. And now they
fam,
change
I
their whole
saw,
profession
I
five, six
saw,
times.
I saw someone say that they can pay for their $6,000 training. I believe it was 6,000. Right?
That part
Someone correct me if I was wrong. And you could be a wait, and you could be a
time.
scrum. You could be the scrum master, working
Yeah.
20 hours a week.
Now watch this. I always say this, and I think some famous person said this years ago. You tell a lie loud enough, you get anybody to believe it.
Yes.
You get anybody to believe that. And so because people are so gung-ho and getting into the field, they see the bags, they see the money. Some people would take that advice and say, this is what it is. But The problem is people are not doing their own research. So they listening to these people online. They're not finding themselves first as to what they really want to do. Like you said, they're chasing the bag, not really thinking before they move, and then they're paying the money. People are actually paying the money to do this.
Wait,
And
or the part that killed me is some of these people are chasing a bag for a job that they don't even know what the job entails or if they would even
right,
like it.
right. And so it's kind of on both parts. It's kind of the person that knows that there are vulnerable people out there or gullible people out there. They're gonna take advantage of that. And you got the people who got taken advantage of. They getting hit because they're not thinking.
Yeah.
They're not putting it into thought. And you're chasing the bag. And this is something I learned on the help desk. Don't chase the bag, chase the experience. The bag is always gonna be there. If you don't got the experience, create the experience.
Yeah.
But what I'm not going to do is pay $7,000 for a class that's going to promise me a job. There is no training out there that can promise you a job unless you're interning with a company or interning with a place that has spots to put you.
Exactly.
There is no training. I don't even do that. I don't even
unless you unless you training people and then telling
unless
them if you pass with this score, you can come work for me.
You can come work for me, and that's another thing. So when I do train, I'm training like the people I will hire is the people I've trained. So, but I would never promise you're gonna get a job in 5 days. You can never promise that. The market is so competitive. You can never promise that if you pay me this money, unless you're on the inside somewhere at some place, you can never promise that. And people fall for it left and right. It's sad, I stay out of those spaces, but I've seen that. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen.
I'm on the fence. I'm like old school, like double dutch in the street, where you kind of figure out if you want to jump in and you wait for your turn.
Right.
There's some spaces that I stay out of, and then there's some because the next I think I've been open about it. The next phase of my career is I want to help more people in training, teaching, or whatever, and also. Like you said, you didn't have a degree. You don't have a degree. I don't have a degree. And when I decided to get into tech, I was pretty much, it was like a fork in the road, and I could have went left. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people who I see go left and ruin their lives or get their lives ended shortly because of the decisions that they make, because they don't know that these options exist for them. There are so many people that are technically inclined but feel like they can't transfer that to the screen. So and like I said, and it's people in poorer communities who usually are misinformed. So when I see people trying to grift those people, like I remember, like I told Tanisha last week, I took that mentality and like flipped certifications, right? So like I got my boss to agree to reimburse me, and I spent $300, but I took that $300 and I got 7 certs off that $300 because I would pass it, reimburse, and I'm not spending nothing. I'm throwing it at the next one, throwing it at the next. And in the meantime, every time I got a little bump in pay, I'm saving that, right? Because I knew there was going to come a point where they said, budget ain't gonna allow for this anymore. You taking advantage. And I can go, all right, cool. I already saved up this money for the next training, right?
Yeah.
And also, what a couple jobs, what they'll do is, oh, we'll pay for the training, but you got to stay with us for another year. So now when I got to that level of independence where I could pay for it for myself, now I don't have to worry about because that's how I got into cybersecurity. I paid for my CEH training.
Yeah.
And when my job tried to come back and tell me, well, you can't go nowhere. I said, no, the last certification you paid for, you told me I had to stay 6 months. I got this certification on my own, and my 6 months is up. I'm out. Right. That's how I moved. Right. So you gotta know how to move. So when I see people who I know probably don't have that kind of money just laying around, and they're literally trying to figure out how they're gonna pay it, to chase a dream that's not true, that's
Like
where
for
I decide I need to speak up sometimes. And like I said, it gets
right.
me in trouble. It gets me in trouble, and it gets me a lot of
Look,
heat. But I'm like,
look,
whatever.
look. Nails that stick out, they get hammered. So if I always say this: there's always a limitation with the majority, but there's no limit with the minority. So you speaking out against that, yeah, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb. However,
Yeah,
you're not limited to what they're limited to. They're limited to lies. They're limited to blinded by somebody that's trying to exploit their weakness of, they're vulnerable. They're willing to pay this money, and so I'm gonna exploit that. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
yeah,
that makes it worse on them. But however, speaking up is good, and a lot of times they get drowned out by louder voices that are out there that are projecting false information. It doesn't necessarily, even though it's being drowned out, it does not necessarily mean that you're not making an impact. Somebody's listening. Somebody somewhere is saying, you know what, I think this guy's right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
yeah,
he getting a lot of flack, and that shows for integrity too. If if 10 people in the room think something totally different than you, would you change your opinion? The fact that you're not changing your opinion shows that you got some integrity about you.
yeah.
And that is what people look at. Oh, he ain't changed his stance. Even though they frying him right now, he didn't change his stance or his position.
Yeah.
Maybe something he's saying is right to me. So I'm gonna listen to him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, I know, yeah,
Yeah. So,
being a nail sticking out, you know, you still
yeah.
get
Oh yeah,
you still
yeah.
make
You
an
get
impact.
whacked. So Dante says, when are you going to have the chasing the bag segment? I'm working on it because I wanted to do it. I want to do it the right way, right? Because it could be just a bunch of people ranting, or it could, I'm saying, it could be productive like the conversation that I'm having with Marcus here. But I want to do it the right way because I also want to, have facts and data to back up my argument, because a lot of people just speak off of opinions and emotion, and I don't want to be mistaken as
Right,
one of them people. So
right.
so whatever I'm working on it. Trust me, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be called chasing the bag the right way, because there's definitely a difference.
Yeah, it
So
is.
Marcus, so when people talk about cybersecurity, a lot of the times, the first thing they think of is hacker or pen tester, like what I do, right?
Hmm.
Hacker, pen tester, whatever, because that's the sexy job.
Yeah,
And uh and blue team, unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because I actually enjoyed my time doing blue team stuff, and I actually went and got a forensic certification
right.
because I wanted to go that route. But when I was living up north, in order to do that in the Northeast, you had to work for law enforcement, and
Yeah.
that wasn't happening.
The
But
juice ain't worth the squeeze. The juice
yeah.
ain't worth the squeeze.
But what about blue team attracted you to it, to get you in that field, and then stick with it?
So in the blue team, so I was fortunate enough, and again, I started off in the sock, but I was fortunate enough that when I jumped into uh, you know, another sock job, that it wasn't a tier structure. Most socks are tiered, where tier ones you're only gonna be allowed to do this. Tier twos, you're only gonna be allowed to do this. Tier threes, you're only gonna be allowed to do this. But I was fortunate enough to walk into an environment where there was an individual who, his name is Patrick Olson. I'll never forget him. Who he threw that tier structure out the window. His first day, he threw that tier structure out the window, and he opened the door for me to jump from tier one to tier three in a matter of 3 months. And what he did was he allowed me to, and you said the forensic search, so I'm pretty sure you're talking about either GCFE and GCFA. He created a program that was based upon the content of those two books, those two classes, and he created a team to say that if you wanted to do more than what you're doing now, here's an opportunity to join a team called Endpoint Threat Detection Team. And what we're going to be doing is forensics. We're going to be doing malware. We're going to be doing all types of tier three types of analysis. And in order to join this team, you had to compete in a challenge every week. Every week you had to compete, and you had to score 80% or higher. And if you tied with somebody that week, you had to compete in a capture the flag competition. Um, what made me want to get into that was the fact that I wanted to do forensics. Again, just like on the help desk, after a year of doing that, you should already know where you want to go. based upon interest and based upon research. And I knew that I wanted to do forensics. I knew that I wanted to touch the forensics to find something. And I'm an old school type of dude, even though I'm young. I like Lieutenant Columbo. I watch Columbo sometimes. I don't know if you know that show, Columbo.
Yeah.
It's an investigative. His investigative think outside the box mentality. I watch that to try to answer a problem, to try to figure out what the problem is. That piece, I got that. I have those type of traits, and so every time I watch that, I want. In the beginning, when I was in the SOC, I used to watch it to help me go to sleep at night. But when I watch it, it helped me to jump into that investigative mindset. Man, maybe I should find something. Maybe I can find an answer to this problem or that problem. That was in me, which pointed me to forensics. Once I got into forensic, once I got on the team, that's when the red team I got exposed to that. All right, there's a defender. You're a defender. Now you got a red team. You got somebody that's trying to take your stuff. And so for me, it's a pride thing, it's an ego thing on the blue team side to go against red team. Where I'm at now, the organization I'm at now, I was able to compete with them on their team against different agencies, different well-known top agencies, and against red team and blue. It was like a red team and blue team thing. But what kept me interested was, again, try to find the answer, try to figure out what the problem is, try to answer the question that's there. And in any investigative stage, you're going to answer two questions, either one or two questions. You're either going to prove a case or disapprove it. So, did malware run on the machine? Did the user plug in a USB drive? Did the user click on the link of a phishing email? Did the user steal that information as an insider? You're trying to either prove that case or disapprove it. And so the energy and the excitement of to try to find the answer of did this happen or not, that's what keeps me going into the blue team stage. And especially when we do attack and defense competitions, I'm definitely hyped because I'm like, they're trying to get in and do something, and they're counting on me and my blue team defender team to try to protect whatever simulated environment that we have from those different types of attacks. So it's fun to me. To me, it's fun.
Yeah.
And like you said, you got to find what's fun for you. The
For me,
IA side ain't fun for me. Reading a bunch of documents ain't fun for me. But analyzing some malware, doing forensics on the phone to figure out where did they connect to Wi-Fi overseas. That's fun for me to try to figure out what's going on in this environment, either proving the case or disapproving. That piece makes it fun for me, and I'm having fun. I'm having fun with my job. So
no,
that's
for
why.
me, I wanted to do forensics, right? Like, so I figured, now I wanted to do both. I wanted to do pen testing and forensics because I felt like, and we're gonna touch on this because you touch about it with the exercises, but I felt
Yeah,
like knowing forensics would make me a better hacker, and then knowing the
yeah,
hacker methodology would make me a better forensics person, right? And
yeah.
for and what I had to do, because I actually got one through InfoSec Institute called it was like the CCFP or something like that. Um, but there was a CTF I did. That's what really did it for me, where it was like you have to prove a case that this person was stealing credit card information.
Yeah.
So how do you do it? Okay, they gave you an image of the hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
And from the image of the hard drive, you also have, now, while maintaining chain of custody, because
Yeah.
that's important. So you had to sign out the hard drive and fill out the little log thing and all of that. But then you had to go in and you had to use the autopsy tools and stuff like that to kind
Yeah.
of go in there, and find where they were finding social security numbers, and then
Mm-hmm.
where they were getting the social security numbers to get these fake cards, and
Yeah.
then how they were selling the cards. So they were using an IRC chat. So now you
Yeah.
had to find the IRC chat logs, and you had to do
Mm-hmm.
all of that up, and then you had to write it up like you
Yeah.
were like whatever affidavit or whatever you needed to
Yeah.
present in court. And
Right.
to me, I loved it because it put me in the mind of the malicious actor, right? So it's almost like a like you talk about Columbo. I watch Forensic Files, right?
Okay.
Like right. So it's like so I watch Forensic Files. First 48. Like I'm like we
Yeah.
like my wife and I we watch them. Shoot, House MD back
Oh,
that back in the day, right? Like even
yeah.
that. Just figuring out the troubleshooting and the thing, like you said, thinking outside the box.
Right.
And I'll be honest, I was really discouraged when I went to my forensics mentor because I couldn't find a pen testing mentor, but I found a mentor in forensics, and he was like, unfortunately, like I can't help you. And he actually told me to move down south before I even thought about moving down south. But then by that time I was like, nah, screw it. I'm good at pen testing, and let me just stay here. And
Yeah.
then about a year later, I got the itch again, and I went to take the ISC squared forensic certification. And I studied for it, and I refreshed, and I did a bunch of CTFs, and I took that certification, and it kicked my ass, and I
Yeah.
never
Look,
and I never looked back.
IC squared, man. Look, y'all need to get out of business. The way y'all be writing them certifications out there to make people fail, and I'm with you, man. I took an ISC squared certification recently. I'm not gonna tell you the name of it, but it tore me up, man. And I almost don't want to go back at it no more. But
Yeah,
I'm with you on that. I'm definitely
but
with you on that.
yeah, like I said, so I still kind of keep my ear to the streets with the DFIR stuff, just because, like I said, I really enjoyed the thought process, and like I said, I felt like it makes me a better pen tester, especially when you're pen testing in environments where they're doing, like you said, like they're doing those exercises for offense and defense. And you touched on that earlier about how motivated and almost like an ego thing
Yeah.
when you're doing these things. But I think what the important side of it is the teams coming together. Is one
Mm-hmm.
thing for the teams to do it, and then it's just about trying to make blue team look bad, or blue team trying to prove that red team's is overrated or whatever. But when it's done the right way,
Right.
it's iron sharpens iron,
Yeah.
and you can take and you can sit side by side and learn what they're doing, what the adversary is doing on the other side to
Yeah.
help improve that. And I
Right.
think that's one of the things that's missing in tech or in
Mm-hmm.
cybersecurity now, is that there are too many islands, right?
Uh, right.
So you have the red team sticks with the red team, blue team
Mm-hmm.
stick with blue team. GRC stays in the world on their own doing the documentation,
Right.
and now they're trying to do purple team, but then purple team is almost like ostracized from both red and blue. So
Yeah.
it's like
Right.
I think we need to get into the mentality more. I mean, it's bad enough that companies don't already spend their budgets like they're supposed to on cybersecurity, but
Right.
I think companies need to start doing like that cross training.
Yeah.
I think it's super important, and again, I think it'll make everybody better, and not for nothing, it'll make the company that you're working for way more protected.
And
Go ahead.
and also it will mature the environment. A lot of people can't get in the field because these environments are not mature to bring in a junior or somebody who's a greenhorn, somebody who doesn't have experience. A lot of these environments are not mature because of that same reason. This team don't want to work with that team, or this team don't want to cross train that team. And having that solution, that's one of the solutions. Having that solution will create that environment where you can have a endless flow of people coming in, learning the skill, getting good at the skill, and maturing those people. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of socks and a lot of environments where juniors are not even maturing. And we talk about high turnover rate. It's in the cyber world too.
Oh yeah.
It's not just help desk, it's in the cyber world too. When that person is not learning or not growing at their job, they're going up and go. Meanwhile, they're not maturing or haven't learned what they needed to learn at that particular job. So they go somewhere else and they gotta deal with the same thing that they dealt with when they left the first place.
Well,
So
think
that
about think
wait,
about it this way. it's the Wild West right now because everybody knows that there's a shortage of qualified people.
Right.
So companies are trying every day to poach people away from their jobs.
Right.
And this is the part of the chasing the bag that I tell you to, that's why I tell people to stay patient, because now you're in a position where you hold the leverage, right?
Right.
If I got let go tomorrow, would I be upset? Yes. Am I worried that I won't find another job? Absolutely not.
No.
Because I have enough people in my inbox on a daily basis. I have people trying right now to
Yeah.
offer me jobs just off GP, just off of having a conversation.
Yeah.
So, but why? Because I've built up that experience over time. So
Yes.
now I don't even necessarily do interviews. Most of my interviews are more like conversations.
Conversations is
And
different.
honestly, and my last interview, I was grilling them more than they were grilling me because they actually offered me the job and I turned them down.
Mm.
See, that's the other thing. When you're chasing the bag, you're doing things out of desperation. But if,
Right.
like you said, when you have the skills that get you paid or pays the
Yeah.
bills,
Yeah.
you hold the leverage. So
You hold
now
up.
you can walk in there and go, nah, you know what? Nah, I know
Right.
that's what you said you want to get paid, but if you want me to leave and start all over again and do this, you're gonna have to come up.
Right.
Or, because a lot of people still don't know about this, I'm gonna need equity in the company.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need some stock options.
Yeah.
Right? Now you're playing a different game. Your skills have gotten you to enter different rooms
Mm-hmm.
that you would have not been able to even know about
Right.
had you just faked it till you made it.
Right.
So this is why I tell people, yo, be patient. Yes, it's going to take some time and there's going to be some bumps in the way, but always bet on yourself and do the work, because as
Right.
long as you do those two things
Yeah.
and your work shows and your work is stellar, right? Like you can't, like, no one's going to blackball you if you left. Like if I say, yo, I'm out, I'm giving my 2 weeks and I didn't burn no bridges, they're
Right.
still gonna, they can, I'm not worried if they go to reference me.
Yeah.
Right. And if they
Yeah.
reference me, and even if the person is being petty, all right, cool. Go talk to this person, or go talk to this person, or
Yeah.
go talk to this person, these meetup groups. This is why I tell people to kind of do all of this stuff to build, like you said, build your brand.
The
And
brand.
and speaking of brands, we're gonna get there to a second, but Jay Mill just asked, is there a timeline to claim the Try Hackney Prize? No. Jay Mill, if you didn't reach out to me yet, reach out to me on either Instagram or Twitter, and I will get you that voucher. So speaking of brands, I see you have a brand of your own, and you started Max Prod Technologies, which I think I ran out of space, so it says technology with no S. But I'm gonna see if I can edit that. But
Oh, you good?
yeah, and I see you got the merch.
Yeah. So this is my.
You repping your set.
I'm a Ralph Lauren fan, a diehard Ralph Lauren fan, and I'm a preppy too. So like when if I'm outside or if I'm out somewhere, you'll see me in a preppy outfit. This is actually my company uniform.
Okay.
So in the wintertime you get these. In the springtime you get polos with cardigans. They all have matching hats that go with them. The strap back hats to go with them. It's real preppy, real dressy and preppy. They're not for sale. However, I do give them out to certain people if they ask. But yeah, this is my work uniform that I got on right now.
That's what's up.
It's one time
So
stitch,
what you
all
doing over there?
huh?
I said so what you doing over there at Max Prod?
Oh, so Massprod Technologies, we're a cybersecurity company. I started in February 2020. I didn't do anything with it until June of 2021, which was last year. And I have two subcontracts. I have one subcontract doing SOC work, and they gave me two positions on that contract. I have a tier one SOC position and a tier two incident response role. And then my other subcontract is I do security engineering work. as needed. So I would go site to site to provide some security engineering tasks. We also do workforce development. So I mentioned on the call today that I teach a class called the SOC experience, and it's not like a boot camp. It's not like books and stuff like that. It's more of a consultation. And I don't know if you've seen that movie Hitch. You seen Hitch?
Yeah.
So in order to get in touch with Hitch, it's all referral only. So in order to take my class, you got to find somebody who took it for them to refer you to me. It's not, you'll never see it posted. You'll never see me post a flyer. Everybody who's coming to me have been referred by somebody who took it already. And that, for me, that's better in that standpoint. But the mentality of the class is, let's say I come work with Davin, or Davin come work with me. The manager says, Davin, I need you to sit with Marcus. He's going to train you up because you start your shift next week. That's the mentality of the training course. You're sitting with me. I have a SOC environment that has pretty much all the industry standard tools that you would probably use in a SOC. And I go from cradle to grave and show you how to create tickets, how to analyze different incidents, how to report to senior management, because communication is big, how to read PCAPs, how to read logs, where to locate the logs. I teach them first level forensics, because a lot of the SOC tier 1 jobs are asking you about forensic artifacts. And if you don't know it, they kind of throw you away. So I kind of expose you to what I've done. And it's pretty much like a brain dump, but it's all hands on keyboard. It's all virtual. We're not going on any books. It's just things that you will see on the job that you would not see in a college course or in a boot camp or in some type of book. And it's just teaching people how to do the job. It's on the job training without the job. That's pretty much what it is. And at the end of it, you go through a mock interview phase. We go through a live, in most cases, we go through a live attack and defense situation. And everything I taught you, I go over, even in my class, and I will even say this, I go over the top 20 or top 10 malware of 2021 by name. How do they work? How does it, if this run in your environment, where can you find the artifacts? And then at the end of the class, after I taught you, we run one of those malwares, and you got to, under a time schedule, you have to find it, alert it, write it up, and stop it from spreading. And that puts you in a live mentality of a SOC role, because that's what you're going to be doing in most cases, responding to incidents. And it's not just malware incidents. We go through several other types. Misuse. We go through misuse. Somebody installed something that wasn't on the list. We go through that. Data spillages. We go through that. Data exfiltration. We definitely go through that. USB detection, rogue device detection. We go through that. I teach them how to write rules in different tools like Suricata, Snort. I teach them how to write rules and create dashboards and Splunk and Elastic. It's like I'm training you how to do the job so that you can start. If somebody was to call tomorrow and say, I need you to come work with me, you won't need anybody to hold your hand. You would just need to ask them, who do we report to?
You're
And how do
giving
y'all?
them the hands, you're giving them the hands-on experience before
I'll give you,
so they can speak to it.
before they even get to the interview.
Yeah.
You already have hands-on experience. And I get people from all over. I just taught a class that was packed this past weekend. You haven't seen a flyer on my page at all because I don't post it. I don't even. Sometimes I may talk about it. Hey, we're doing soccer experience today, and everybody's like, "What's that?" You know, they think I'm catfishing, but I really had a class this weekend, and people are from. They're from different places. I'm working with a guy right now. I'm trying to get him to take the class. He's in Salvador. I had a guy in my last class that was in Canada, and in the middle of the class, he interviews, and he gets. I teach him at the tier 1 level. I throw in some tier 3 because I've never been to tier 2. In the middle of the class, he interviews, and he gets a tier 3 senior cyber threat hunting role in Canada. It's just, and I got stories like that back to back. And I wrote a post I think this week about the target audience. There's a bunch of people who are saying, show me how to do it. I don't feel like reading no videos, and I don't want to be in no math class because what if I have issues? The target audience I'm getting don't know anything about Black Twitter Tech or Blacks in Cyber. These are regular people, police officers. security guards, teachers, IRS people, people that are in the medical field, people that work at CVS and 7-Eleven and Home Depot. They coming to me.
That were
Basically,
referred to you.
they were referred to me by somebody who took the class, who's probably working right now, and they come take the class, and learn some skills. And I just teach you the skill. I don't teach you no books. I don't teach you how to get no cert. I just teach you the skill. You put that on your resume and apply. Like again, I had a guy in my class this week. He just took the class this weekend. 52 years old. That's what I said. No age. Age doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And he just what he learned from this class, he threw it on his resume, and he got an interview tomorrow. So I never guarantee the job. I just teach you how to do the job. Because I'm in the inside, and I'm trying to help people get in. How do I help people get in? I teach them what I know that got me in, or they teach me what I know that made me successful while I'm in, and so they use that. You know what I'm saying? It's not always how much you know, it's what you know. You know what I'm saying? That will get you in the door. So
yeah, absolutely. Like I said, everybody's worried about the quantity, but it's the quality.
It's the quality. It's the quality. Right.
So let's see here. So Kiki said that's dope. Trenton said, that's what's up. We need to link up. I'm looking to get into subcontracting for my cybersecurity business. I'd love to learn more about how you got into it and was able to land some contracts.
You know the easiest way? Work for a small company. Don't work for a big company. You're another cog in the system at that point. You're not going to be looked at that point. If you're trying to get into subcontracting business, genuinely be genuine about it. Work for a small company and help them grow. Refer people to their positions.
Be patient.
Be patient. Like, don't rush it. Be organic about it. You have a goal that you're trying to do, but help them. You know, show up to their events. If they got game night, show up. You know, show that you're a team player with them, that you care about their goals, and in return, they care about yours. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I got it. I got in the subcontractor space, is that they care about. I cared about what they got going on genuinely, and then they cared about my stuff. It's like you give respect to get it. It's that type of mentality on the contractors.
Being intentional with your actions, and like you said, being organic. So Majestic Logic said, I'm gonna start referring people to you. Blue team representation is missing and you are a gem.
Who said that?
Majestic Logic.
Okay. Hey, you can refer, but hey. At some point I may make it live. And I throw free stuff sometimes. Like I have a company that want me to train their students, train their employees, but they're going to open it up to everybody, and that's Elastic. How to operationalize Elastic Elk.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, I was going to say. Only thing I would, again, that's not my area. I'm trying to get into the training space, but I would probably say maybe offer a workshop every here and there at a con. That'll definitely generate, you know what I'm saying? That'll definitely generate a buzz right there. You do a couple, it don't even have to be a big con, but you do a couple cons.
Yeah. I'm for that. I'm definitely for that. And I did a Splunk one already, and I was training for one because I was trying to create a team for the Boss of the Sock competition at Splunk Conf last year, but one of the contracts needed me to do some deliverables, so I had to cancel that. But I was training a live team. I don't care what and let me tell you how this. It doesn't matter if you touched a computer before. The teaching style is different. I don't care where I've had training to know how to teach different levels of people in the same room. So I'm gonna make you understand the material before the class is over. You know what I'm saying? You'll know exactly what I'm talking about at the end of the class. So don't be overwhelmed to say you don't got experience here and there. It doesn't matter to me. Anybody can take the class and
be a sponge.
Be a sponge. Just be ready to learn.
Be a sponge.
That's all.
So we're gonna get to the last 4 questions and then we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
So you have your own company and I'm assuming you also work full time.
I work. So I'm a full time. I'm a cybersecurity engineer.
Okay.
I'm a part time forensic SME, part time, and I got those 2 subcontracts.
Okay. So what's a day in the life of Marcus Bowie?
Oh goodness. So my office is here in this little cubby hole of one of my walk-in closets, and so I ain't never late to work. And so day in life is I get up, of course I'm a shower, I gotta get the kids and the family out the house, and then I start my 9 to 5 job. That's in the morning, usually 8 hours in the morning, and then after that I start either one of the contracts because those are like floater roles. I either do one of the contracts at night or I do the forensics one, depending on whatever they ask me. So that's Monday through Friday, mainly Monday through Saturday. There's some type of work need to be done on different types of hours, and so on the technical side, that's work related. That's what I'm doing. For skills related, I always find time after I get time to the family, whatever. When it's 8 o'clock at night and above, I'm in the lab. I'm learning something. I'm sharpening my skills because if you don't use it, you lose it. And
Yep.
so I'm staying sharp in that aspect. And then I just rinse, repeat.
That's what's up. And again, yeah, you got to make that time for professional
Yeah,
development. Like I said, I had Dave Kennedy on last week, and he said the same thing. He said he he he's intentional with his, like, he puts it
yeah,
in his schedule every day to
yes,
make sure he has a few hours, whether it's to review, look at whatever stuff. He actually has somebody. He said he actually has somebody on his team who knew that about him and sends him like
yeah,
emails with a bunch of different things
right.
uh
And,
to
and
to,
if
to
and
review.
if and if y'all anybody, everybody, when you get a chance, get yourself a whiteboard. I got a whiteboard behind me. Probably can't see it, but I got that whiteboard, and that helps me keep track of my skills, keep track of my
Man,
goals and stuff like that.
I
You know
got
what
one, two.
I'm saying?
I have one right here in front of my desk that's like that I can, so like when I'm on this, like if I'm looking or I'm having a conversation, I can write it right here. And then
Right.
I have another one back over there, but that's for like my web, that's like my stuff I need to do for like my website and all of that. So I got about, if I got four whiteboards, and then I also have that one, but that's my little motivational one over here. So
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
my little quotes. But yeah, I'm a big advocate for whiteboards, man.
yeah, yeah. Whiteboards are in. Whiteboards are in.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So all right, so if someone were to walk up to you and ask you to share 3 tips to get into tech, what would they be?
Uh, First of all, you got to be hungry. I've seen people walk into an environment and they make a dollar amount that they've never seen before and get comfortable. You got to be hungry. Cybersecurity is always changing. There's always something new. There's always some new technology, and if you're not keeping up with that, you're gonna get left behind. So first, be hungry. Secondly, you need to be a hard worker. As we said before early in the podcast, if you're not a hard worker, I always tell people this: if you're not a hard worker at McDonald's, don't plan on making it big in cybersecurity. It's gonna take work. There's some things that they may have you do on this side of the field where they're not gonna pay you enough. It ain't enough money to do. And you just gotta have that work ethic. You can't be lazy. You just gotta have that work ethic. When you come over here, you're gonna have to work. You're gonna have to work to get in. You're gonna have to work to stay in. So you're gonna be hungry, be a hard worker, and lastly, I say be a geek at home. It doesn't make sense, like I said before, to jump into a field you have no clue about and work 8 hours and go home and play the video game. Study your craft, be good at your craft, be sharp at your craft, be a geek. Geeks run the world, and geeks are the ones that are winning and getting the promotions and getting all the jobs. So yeah, those three.
Man, listen, I got to a point now where I feel guilty when I try to play video games. Like
Yeah,
I gotta find the skit because my daughter sent it to me. And after I talked to her about the language that was in it, but it was basically this dude went to sit down and play video games, and every time he grabbed a controller, it was like, "Yo, you're worthless. I can't believe you're doing this. You're playing video game. Don't you got stuff to do?" And she was like, "Dad, this is you. This is so you." Because
yeah,
I'm like, man, for so many years, it was like I could be playing video. Like I have video games that I'm like, I promise I'm gonna get to. So and I still buy the actual disc so I can remember it. So it's like I'm gonna get to that. And this year is actually gonna be the year because I said I've gotten to that point in my career now where I think I'm good. I know what I need to do. I know how much time I need to put in. Not that I need to put it on autopilot, but now I can start enjoying the fruits of my labor and enjoying my family a little bit more. And one of my goals is to actually, like I said it jokingly. I don't know if you saw last year when Twitch got hacked and they leaked the how much money the streamers were making, and I was like, yo, I'm making that list. I don't need to be number one. I don't need to be 100,001.
What?
But I'm gonna make that list.
Yeah.
Right. And shout out to my family for supporting my dream of getting me away from the keyboard because they actually went and got me a PS5. My wife found me a PS5. So shout out to her. You know, I love you. And her birthday was just this past a couple days ago. So happy birthday to my beautiful wife. But yeah, I found that. And then the other day I was stumbling across, I was in Micro Center just doing my weekly walkthrough. And I looked down and there's an Xbox, just the Xbox Series X just sitting there. So I was like, oh man, this must be the universe talking to me. So now I got two expensive reasons to make sure I got to do what I got to do. So I'm definitely gonna make that happen. All right. So thanks for sharing the tips. But what are your goals for 2022?
It's the same as last year. Looking to get more contracts, of course, and to grow the business. That I got some certifications I want to get. Red Hat, Ansible cert. I'm trying to knock out CSSP. I need to retake and knock that out. And I'm gonna jump into the AWS cloud space with certs as well. Definitely, I need to re-up my forensic cert, so that may be a goal. But for the most part, up front is the business. Get the business up and running, and even though I just started, it's still, the customer base looks like it's going to be there in the next few months. So.
Oh yeah. So CISSP, download the sunflower document.
I got that. Somebody gave it to me after
so download that and look at that like the couple days leading up to the exam. Good luck, by the way. If you need someone to because once you pass, you need someone to kind of vouch for you to get the full exam. I got mine, and I know JB got his. So reach out if you need help with that. Also, with your CPEs or CEUs for the forensics thing, look at brighttalk.com. Because there are a bunch of qualified talks that will actually help you if your certification allows you to submit talks for credits. You can go to Bright Talk because Bright Talk has all is like just type in what you're looking for and they give you a whole list. So I'll usually let that run when I'm working and I'm reviewing all of that. And thirdly, good luck, man. Like I said, any way I can help. Like I said, I know that CISSP grind,
man.
And like I said, when I got it, I ran out of the testing facility, and this is before they did the adaptive exam. I ran out of that testing facility, and I was like, "Yo, never again." So that's how I found Bright Talk, because I was like, I am never testing for this again.
And listen, you mentioned the cert that I have. You mentioned I have CEH.
Mm-hmm.
That's the cert I've been riding on, the cybersecurity. And this is my 6 year of cybersecurity. This is my 6 years.
Yeah.
And I've been riding that CEH. I never got to retake that cert. I don't care what nobody say about it. I ain't never got to retake that cert, even though it was easy. I'm never going to retake it.
Listen,
I just do.
Here's my take on the CEH. Right, EC Council, they have people problems, right? Whether they whatever.
Yeah.
The CEH is just I haven't taken it since version 8 or 9.
Yeah, that's what I took. Yeah.
But CEH at that time, because I've heard that I heard that it's changed, and I heard that there's a practical element to the exam now. But when I took it, it was nothing more than a little harder Security Plus exam, right?
Right.
I'm not trying to drag them, because in this field, it is a necessary evil to have.
Mm-hmm.
If the name of the game is getting your foot in the door,
Right.
and you have an opportunity to get the CEH and not pay the ridiculous price the price tag for it. What is it
Yeah.
like? What is it, $900 now or something like that? Or
Yeah.
more than that?
It's more than that. I think it's in the thousands.
Yeah. So if you have an opportunity to come to get the CEH, get the CEH.
Yeah.
Why? Because when you put your resume in there, a lot of companies, for whatever reason,
They want that.
still look at the CEH as, oh, they're qualified because they have their CEH.
Yeah.
Do I feel like that's going to change, especially in the pen testing field in the next 3 to 5 years? Yes, especially with the Pen Test Plus, Cyber Mentors PNPT exam,
Yeah.
INE training with their e-learn certifications.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of certifications out there
Yeah.
that are going above and beyond what you would get with the CEH, which I think is why CEH is pressured to now do this practical exam. But as long as the name of the game is getting your foot in the door, get it.
Look. People ask me, what search should I get? I will go to google.com,
Yeah.
type in Indeed, or just type in Indeed.com and put the certification that you think you should get or you want to see how many jobs come up.
Yeah.
If it's
Throw
Security
that
Plus,
CEH. Yeah. Throw
throw
that
that
CEH
CEH
in
in
there
there
and see
and
how
see
many pages come back.
right. See how many pages come back. Now, if you don't, and I get what you're saying, there's some technical search that are over and beyond that will give you better a better skill set if you get it. However, if less jobs are asking for it, then that's not a necessity right now. I
Now
always try to get on the job first to get it.
here's a caveat. Make sure you know what you're learning. Don't get the CEH just to get the
Right.
CEH, or
Right.
going back to what we talked about,
Right.
getting a brain dump or faking until you make it. No.
Yeah.
Make sure you understand
Yeah.
what's on
Yeah.
that, what's in that course and on that exam,
Right.
because you're going to need to apply it.
You're gonna have to apply it.
Now, like I said, are there other options? Boyles just said he's in Security Plus right now. Personally, I feel like the Security Plus has made strides.
Yeah.
Because Security Plus now gives you a broad scope of everything security, from pen testing, everything, depending on the type of course you take. So the Security Plus, the Pen Test Plus, I think those two combined should get you where you need to go, and it's significantly cheaper than EC Council. But if the name of the game is to get your foot, if you don't have a connection to get your foot in the door already, get the CEH, grin and bear it. Like I said, you will learn something from it.
Yeah.
And as long as you apply what you know,
right.
But don't look to it as true story. Don't be the dumb jackass like me when I got the CEH and I thought I made it.
Right.
Like I got the CEH and I was like, I'm in there. You can't tell me nothing. And then I got my first pen test job. And I was like, I know nothing. Like,
so another thing about the search, just think about this, y'all. When you go to the game or to the fights or whatever, you can sit in any seat. You can sit in the nosebleed section, you can sit in the middle section, or you can sit in front row. So just think of them search. There's just tickets to get into the game, to the fight.
Yes.
The less or the ones that are asked for the less, that may be the nosebleed section. But the ones they ask for the most, that's front row. And that's where you want to sit, in the seats. You know what I'm saying? So just look at them as tickets. Look at them as tickets to get into some entertainment. That's all.
Yes, sir. All right. So final question. I don't know if you've seen the show before, but I asked this to every single one of my guests. What is your why?
Cybersecurity is a people business to me. It's all about people. I'm not just stuck on demographic. I'm stuck on psychographic. And my purpose in life is people. It's not cyber, it's people. And so cyber is used. I use that as a tool to reach people. And anybody that's willing to learn or anybody that's willing to grow, I'm for that. And again, it's psychographic. Everybody needs to know how to read PCAPs. Everybody needs to know how to read logs. Doesn't matter where your background is, or where you grew up at, or your skin color. Everybody needs that help, and so I'm for that. That's my why in cybersecurity, or why I use cybersecurity to reach people to help change their situation. Facts.
Nah, that's what's up. That's what's up. And thank you for sharing that. Let's see here. We have Boyle says amen. Ty said he got his pen test in Security Plus. Like, yeah, you should start looking. I know we've talked. And then Dante says, where do you want to sit? And Boyle says front row.
Yeah.
That's facts. And then hold on, my wife said, thanks and you're welcome. So she was thanking me for the birthday wishes and telling me she's welcome for the PS5 that I still haven't gotten a chance to play yet. But that's all right though. That's all right though. So we're gonna get so we got a couple we got a little bit of time for a couple Q&A questions. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead. If not, well, I'm gonna let Marcus go. So let's see I'm just gonna scroll through, see if I missed anything. So yeah, J Mill, like I said, man, reach out to me if you haven't done so already, so I can get you that voucher. Dante, thank you for the super chat. Says finally figured how to send a super chat. Great show. I appreciate that. Ty says, I would like to do pen testing and trying to get into an entry level position, yet I still feel weak and I believe it would take me 2 solid years of studying to sharpen my knowledge. No, there's no better knowledge than on the job. So if you can find a junior pen tester role, get the junior pen tester role. Again, don't worry about the bag number.
Yeah.
It's not going to be 6 figures.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying? So go into that knowing if you know that and you go into there, you'll get that experience. You'll get that hands-on experience. If you can't, one of the best things that happened in 2020 is everybody went virtual.
Yeah.
Find a virtual meetup group and help them out. Network with them. Black Girls Hack does a intro to CTF and hacking thing every week.
Yeah.
Blacks in Cyber, check out their Discord. They're doing CTFs all the time.
Yeah.
Republic of Hackers. Shout out to Makeshift and Studio Sec who they done merged their stuff together, and now they're with the Republic of Hackers. Check them out. They got a bunch of stuff for red team, blue team. Go check out these Discord groups. So yeah, check them out. Daniel said, I use Nick2. This is when we were talking about the web app hacking and using Burp Suite. No, I use Nick2. I use Nick2 all the time. But what happens when Nick2 finds a vulnerability? How are you going to proxy it and capture requests to test if the vulnerability is there?
Right.
So let's see. We were talking about the stuff online. I'm seeing anti-networkers on this line. No, it's not anti. Well, yes, it depends on where you're talking about. Like on Twitter, yeah, there's a lot of people who feel like they shouldn't get networking, and I feel like you should have a basic understanding, a basic foundation. Do you need your CCNA? Absolutely not.
No.
Trenton Brooks, when we were talking about training and staying sharp, adversaries are constantly working. Absolutely. And the thing that sucks about us versus adversaries is they only have to be right once. We have to be right all the time.
Yeah.
We have to be right and we have to stay right. They can get lucky once. We can't afford that to happen at all. And then the other thing is we're not allowed to do certain things that adversaries can do. So we need to be the best at what we do with the limited skill set we have. Like, for example, we can't hack back.
Yeah. Yeah. No defend for it unless it's approved. Yeah. No defend for it unless it's approved. And like you said, they only got to be right once, but they're sloppy too. And they just like us, they take vacations. So when you're not seeing that type of activity going on, sharpen them skills, when they come back, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah. So Ty was asking, how much time is enough in a help desk? I got over 5 years with the following certs: CCNA, Security Plus, MVP, and man, listen,
one year.
You're good. You can go.
I
agree. I even say a little bit less than a year, honestly.
6 months to a year.
It all depends. To me, it all depends on when, like I said before, when you're in a help desk role, there's going to come a point where troubleshoot.
Right.
For me, I knew I was at that point when I could troubleshoot
Yeah.
standing away from my desk and I had my headset on.
Nice.
Right. So I'm not looking at the screen. I'm not asking to remote into your nothing. I'm just like, okay, did you do this? Did you do that? Once I could do that consistently,
Yeah.
And work got boring, and
Yeah.
I'm hitting my cues, or
So
there's nothing left for me here.
I was about to say that. The moment you know how to do the job with your eyes closed, it's time to go.
Mm-hmm.
You overstay your welcome, you're gonna burn yourself out, even doing that. So.
Yep. Dante said, "Throw all the sound bites, man. Listen, I told you he was going off earlier, like, but I think like I said, I think we broke the stream. So that chasing the bag segment is going to be highly anticipated. Like I said, man, look, I've been working on it, and there are a couple people who I know have also been working on it. So, and again, in this content creation space, I try to be mindful of what other people are doing. So if I know that, Caleb, like Studio Sec, is doing something, I'm not going to try to step on his toes. Or if I know JB, John Brett, is doing something, or Ty Wilson, or Cyber Warrior, I'm different, right? And I'm not going to try to beat you to it. So let's just say I know that someone did want to work on it, and I was actually supposed to be on that panel. So I looked at it as an opportunity to do a joint stream. So that's what's holding on with it. And we're trying to make sure everything aligned. But if we don't get it popping by springtime, I'll definitely host it myself. But like I said, I just didn't want to, I want to make sure if we do it, because there's a lot of people that there are a lot of people out there that have the same sentiment, that share the same sentiment, and they don't, and they may resonate differently than I do. So I want to make sure I get a bunch of different voices to speak to it.
Right.
So Dante says, I did a month of help desk with Security Plus, but I did have a cybersecurity degree. Yeah, it's like I said, whatever like I said, the name of the game is getting that experience on your resume and not burning any bridges while you're gaining that experience.
Right.
Because that's the hardest step, is to get your foot through the door. Now, 5-10 years ago, would I say you probably had to you probably would have to stay at least a year, maybe 2. Now in today's climate, because there are so many job openings, 6 months, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Some maybe even less if you can speak to it on the resume, because be aware that they're gonna say, well, it says here you only work here for 4 months, 5 months. What happened?
Right.
And you can say and be honest. I felt like I wanted to move in another direction, and I did. And then I did X, Y, and Z. I gained this certificate. I did this. I went to this training. I did these meetup groups to show that I did all of this. So yes, I may have only been at the job for 3, 4, 5 months, but in that 3, 4, 5 months, in my spare time, I took in all of this knowledge and put in all of this work, and now I'm here sitting in front of you, prepared to apply that. It's all about how you present yourself, but it's about getting through that door first.
And also know the art of pivoting. Not every upgrade, not every position is a position that's going to get you somewhere else. Sometimes it's a dead end. So just don't be so, again, be patient. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get to the bag. The bag going to be there. Don't worry about that part. The experience is big. Get that experience under your belt. And even if it's 6 months, they are going to ask those questions. But you can still move, just move smart. Get some advice from somebody who's been in the field longer than you, somebody that can point you in the right direction before you just up and go. And and again, if you're on the help desk and you're in a clear space and they give you clearances, do not leave that help desk without top secret.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna tell you that right now. Get the top secret first, because once you get that secret and go somewhere, you're not gonna be able to move.
You want to talk about a cheat code?
Yeah, cheat code.
You want to talk about a cheat code? Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. You everybody talking about rushing to get the bag. If you can apply all of that knowledge that you learn and do the work, but you got a top secret?
Yeah.
On the civilian side?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, stop. You might even you might as well just go into business for yourself. Because you got the clearance.
Hey,
See?
let me tell you something. There are places that cannot fill seats because of the clearance, which means that they will take a hit on you. They will take a chance on you, all because you got the clearance. It's wide open, people. Get that top secret first before you jump. Don't chase that bag until you get that top secret.
If that's the space you want to move in, that's a necessary.
Right.
That is like if you want to move and you know, some people want to do that government contracting. And if that's what you want to do, get that clearance. And like I said, stick around to get that clearance because it's not easy to get that clearance on your own.
Right.
So
right.
Trent says big facts.
Yes.
Boyle's info system said noted. No, for real. Like seriously, get that clearance. If that's a space you want to move in, let them pay for it.
Right.
Let them pay for it. Go talk to the feds.
Right.
Go sign your little affidavit. Tell them how many times you smoked weed or whatever you did.
Yeah, tell the truth. Don't lie on it.
Yo, listen, when I was in the military, I had a top secret. And my thing was what my drug test come back and say.
No,
right?
No, in some cases.
Wait. So dude leaves.
Yeah.
Comes back a month later, puts me in a room and goes, "We have a problem. You lied to me." I said, "Huh?"
Yeah.
He knew where I was. He knew who I was with. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even remember that night. And I was like, "Oh, yeah."
Right.
And he slides the paper out from me. He's like, fill this out and say that. And I had to say I was mistaken. I forgot. Blah 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 blah. I did it. I was young. It was experimental. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah. They're gonna make you sign.
Yo,
but as long as you tell them the truth, you'll get it. And I think somebody asked that, how quick can you get it? It depends on
your background.
Who you give them for them to go talk to. Because I gave the investigator 5 people and he came back with 14. I said, who you talk to? Who you talk to?
I gave them I gave them a bunch of people. See, we going overtime now. I gave them a bunch of people, but I forgot where I came from for a second. So you got these people who real unfamiliar walking through the hood asking if they know, asking my people if they know me.
Right.
You bound to get a hostile response.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm getting phone calls like, yo, someone's walking around looking for you. And I had to tell them, like, get off the block or
yeah. Don't tell them. Right? Don't tell them.
Yo, they ended up finding a coworker of my mother who her son was friends with my little brother, and I didn't even like I don't really talk to these people, but they went looking.
So
and they had to, because like I said, when he came back and told me you lied to me, I'm like, how?
Yeah,
I'm like, how? And then come to find, and so now of course I'm calling back home like, yo, who told?
So
who told? And they were like, and then it was like one of my homeboys was like, one of my homeboys. Apparently the dude walked up and pretended like he knew me, and he was like, oh yeah, I remember this time. It was me, Davin, this person, and we did this and this and this, and we were over here. So he came back and was like, well, what about this house party you were at? And I was like, oh man, yeah.
Hey, once you get your clearance, you got to treat it like it's that. You know, any little thing can get that clearance stripped from you. But as long as you're honest with them, and as long as you tell the people who you're giving them as reference, don't refer them to nobody else. You can get that clearance quicker than
about 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, 3 to 6 months. Yep, 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6. Yeah, like I said, but yo, they dig. So be prepared
and be honest. Be honest.
Yeah. So, all right, so we gonna call it. So, ladies and gentlemen, everybody watching, this has been another episode of InfoSec Unplugged. I have been your host, Davin Jackson. This has been my guest, and I see why you call yourself Cyber Reverend because he took us to church tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been my guest, Marcus Bowie.
Thanks, y'all.
I'm gonna throw a couple more in there.
Thank y'all, man. Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Throw a little gem thing in there. Shoot, let me see. I'm gonna throw that in there too, man. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and kicking with me for like the last 2 hours, even though
2 hours, man.
Went through the technical difficulties, but
Sorry about that,
it's been
y'all.
great. No, it's fine, man. Listen, it happens. So, like I said, this has been InfoSec Unplugged. Make sure you tune in next week because I will have another great guest. I'm actually excited as well for this guest because everybody knows I've moved into the API space and stuff. So I will be talking to the most notorious or famous or infamous, however you want to call it, API hacker there is right about now, Alyssa Knight, author of Hacking Connected Cars. She just caught a lot of heat recently because she did she put out her paper about hacking the fire apps, and she just put out another white paper on hacking banks. She's known for hacking like 30 banks in I think like less than 30 minutes or something like that. So if you guys want to talk about some API hacking and just have a great conversation about, just her experience and stuff like that, make sure you tune in for that. As a matter of fact, next week is going to be a very busy week. So shout out to Henry Davis, Textual Chatter. I'm on his show Monday. Wednesday, it's tentative. I'm trying to finish that up. But Wednesday, I will be doing a quick stream because I have an announcement to make, and you guys don't want to miss that. It has everything to do with the tweet I put up the other day about blue teaming. So make sure you tune in for that one. And then Thursday, I will have Alyssa Knight on to talk about API hacking. So y'all gonna see a lot of me next week. Hopefully I didn't talk y'all ears off this week. Like I said, I'll be better next week. Hopefully, this whatever's going on, I'll be fine. But until then, stay safe. Do what you got to do to stay healthy out there. Take your vitamin C, drink your orange juice, coffee in your sleeve or whatever. I don't care what your vaccination status is. Just make sure you stay safe and stay alive out there. And I will see y'all next week. Peace.
Okay.